We are live, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. We are here. Monday. What today is? Today is the 12th. Coming up on a Valentine's Day, a couple of days from now. So February wash season nearly upon us. Wanted to do a quick video this Monday afternoon because I've got this topic on my mind. I've been thinking about it all weekend and wanted to get it out to you guys. So hopefully we can be of some benefit to you. I have upped my studio game. Finally, it took me long enough to really care to make it any better, but got some lighting in here and a new mic. So that's nice. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it's a little bit better audio and video quality for you guys. I know a lot of guys listen as they're driving and working. I'm the same way. I listen to all my stuff as I'm just out there in the field working. So it's more of a podcast really than a YouTube video. I'm going to do you another video tomorrow, a video. We've got a pretty slick trailer outside. We had a couple of them. We sent one out last week that had every bell and whistle on it. I did do a video, but I had the flu and I sounded like crap. So I got another trailer in here. These are Todd Ketchow level trailers. What's up, Todd? They got a lot of cool stuff on them. So we're going to do a walk around of one of those. I may film it this evening, maybe tomorrow. So guys, if you don't know, we've got a serious starter boot camp coming up here in a couple of weeks here at Southeast Softwash HQ. This will be the 6th one, I think, that we've done. Me and Aaron Parker will be putting that on. So that's a big 2-day event. If you guys want to come, we still got some seats left. We normally sell this thing out. Most of the time, we oversell it. We got people trying to get in at the last minute. So if you want to come to the Serious Starter Boot Camp. That'll be, the dates are on the screen here, February 23rd and 24th here in Alabama. We'll feed you both days, and it's going to be a ton of information about all things washing. So this is the time of year when everybody's gearing up, getting ready, getting all their equipment and training and marketing assets and all that stuff down pat, ready to go for the season. But today's video ain't going to do that. I wanted to talk to you guys about how you do anything is how you'll do everything. So if you're in the car right now, I just had one of the guys here in the comments say he's driving right now. I feel you, dude. I drive a lot. Look in your truck, your car. Is there a bunch of trash in your car? Do you ride around with, we all know those people, right? We know them. We know who they are. If it's you, don't say anything. Maybe nobody will catch on that it's you. Here's another example. Is your smoke detector at your house currently beeping and you don't even realize that it is doing that? Okay. Is your smoke detector beep chirping every 47 seconds? Audit yourself, because I'm going to talk today about how you do anything is how you do everything. And it's the little things that we do. My little office up here, the skunk lair, has gotten a little bit messy and it's driving me absolutely nuts. I'm the type of person, I've always been this way. I am not I wouldn't try to call myself a neat freak, but I like things to be put away. I like things to be a certain way. I like the shop to be clean. I'm looking at the shop I got that pharmacy glass where you can look out, but they can't look in. And it's pretty much stays that way outside. The grounds, the building and the grounds have to me, they have to look a certain way. I want things to be put up. I don't like things to be in disarray. And so if you are the type of person that is okay with things being sloppy, then your business is going to be sloppy. You have got to develop a muscle. If you don't have it naturally, if you've got it naturally, then you're in good shape because you're already kind of wired this way. But if you don't have it naturally, you're going to have to really double down on the fact that everything has to be right. You're always kind of looking for what's the thing that I could work on that's the next best thing that I can put attention on. Okay. I know people, and we had this come up in our conversations over the weekend, have nothing to do with soft washing, but they make excuses for everything. Everything is an excuse. Everything is there, and I hate it for them, but they're always in reactive mode. And this is what they'll say: I wish somebody would come and help me, or can y'all come and help me? or I need some help. Well, what you really mean is you want somebody to come in there and freaking do it for you. No, listen, you guys are getting into the business. I'm here to tell you today, nobody is coming to save you in your business. If you want to be a statistic of businesses that fail, Google that number real quick. Let's find out. How many businesses fail? How many businesses? Let's see, business. I can't spell. How many businesses? The first result on Google is how many businesses does Shaq own? That's kind of weird. Number 2 result is how many businesses fail. About 50%. This is according to the SBA. 50% of all new businesses fail within 5 years. Well, that sucks. Over the long run, 90% of business startups fail. In other words, only 1 in 10 traditional businesses in the startup category ultimately survive. 20% fail in the first 2 years of being open, 45% during the first 5 years. And this is from another place, another stat. So the other question is, why do 95% of businesses fail? You want to know why they fail? It's because the owners, the person in charge of the boat, is sloppy, doing everything half-ass, doing everything in the way that gets us to sit on the couch the quickest. We're doing everything in the way. Now, here's the odd part. I've met a lot of these guys. I've met a lot of them. And they, oddly, when they go to the job site, now, when they pull up at the job site, they will almost do too good of a job. They'll be out there rinsing and taking care of the point where I'm like, hey, man, it's good. You're good to roll like 40 minutes ago. So when they're on the customer's property, they'll work their heart out because in their soul somewhere, they've got this sense that if I don't do a millionth time over deliver to that degree, that I'm not a good person. I always like to over deliver a little bit. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do a good job. Obviously, I shouldn't even have to say that. You should do an excellent job. But I'm talking about the house. The job was done. The roof was clean. We were done 35, 45 minutes ago. And they're still out there piddle-dinking around trying to do a good job. That's fine. Do what you want to. I think you're wasting a lot of time. But here's my problem. Why can't you take that same energy and do that level of work when it comes to working on your business? You'll do it for somebody else. Why won't you do it for yourself? Why won't you put in the work to grow something that you're proud of? Nobody cares that your business makes it or not. It's like, it blows my mind that people, even if you're not talking about business, right? If you're talking about the single parent out there that needs help, right? I can help you, but you've got to be trying to help yourself. The phrase, I need some help, don't mean I need everybody to come in here and do it for me so that I can get it back up to a standard. And then I immediately let it hit the ground again. And then I need everybody to white knight right in and get it back up for me. It's like, if you were to plot yourself on the graph where you've got homeless people down here, okay, like this is that level. They've never contributed to society. I'm not talking about people who, there are some homeless people out there that you could give them a leg up and they change their life. And those are those crazy rare stories, right? A lot, in fact, the majority want to be homeless. We got panhandlers here in Roanoke. I don't fool with them. They kind of try to ride up to you at the gas station begging for money. Get away from my truck, or things are going to happen. I don't, especially if my family's with me. I had one of them reach in the car one time at McDonald's, and we're in a small town. And don't reach in my damn car. Like you can get hurt like that. Why can't you help them? Why can't you help them? Why 45 people, you know damn well, if we were to take $10,000 and give it to 98% of the homeless population, they would spend it on what? What? A course? A piece of equipment? Like, I mean, what would they spend to improve their situation? Living, like housing? No. A vast majority would spend it on drugs, alcohol, and the same bad habits that's maybe not got them where they're at. It wasn't the initial snowball, but it's the things that they've now got addicted to that they can't change. Okay, so if that's the bottom of the rung, where There's a small minority of these people we might could help. Let's go up a level. These are the people who live in poverty in America, but there's really no reason they should. They're just lazy and sorry. Okay, then you go up a level from that. That's about where most of us are at. We make enough money and we're doing okay enough to where we're paycheck to paycheck and we can go on a vacation a year and we're, up to about right there in debt, but it's a livable place. Where you then you go up from there, and then you go up from there, and then you go up from there. Like that's Jeffrey Bezos and Elon Musk level, right? I'm not even shooting at that. Like that's a waste of my time to think that like that. But I'm going to shoot for somewhere I would prefer to have rich people problems. I would prefer to have if all things are equal, right? I want it to be that if a tire blows out on the car, that it really don't make a crap. Like it really does not affect my day. There were years of my life, most of my adult life, and most of my parents' life. Now they're not like this now, but it took us a long time to dig out of poverty. We grew up in rural Alabama, just broke as hell. Like my dad worked his butt off. He did the best they could, but we were always about a blowout away from like a really bad month. It's like we went on some vacations. There were years that we didn't go on vacations, and there were years that we did. But I know my dad, and he didn't want it to be that way, and he worked to get it. He advanced his children to the next stage, and now my parents are at a very comfortable place in life. So the benefit I have is I get to start slightly ahead, right? I'm the oldest, so my brother and sister got to see more of by the time they were older, the family was grabbing traction. But we started down here in a trailer park, single wide. Okay. One car in the family, not a 2-car family, one TV. And the one car that the family had was not big enough for the family, right? That was where we were at. And we ate bologna sandwiches. That's what we did. Okay. And then we scaled it from that. But what allowed us to do that? It wasn't magic. It wasn't being nobody that is successful or more successful than you are, if they're where you want to be, I guarantee they're not actually smarter than you. Most of the time, that's not the thing that moved the needle that put them in the next tax bracket. It's not that. It was a mindset and a mentality of, hey, I can go and get that. I can achieve that. And I'm going to push everything I can to get there. And it starts with the little things. See, we all want to think that we'll do that when we get the big things. When I get the opportunity to pull the trigger on a big thing, I'll take it. It don't work that way. How do you get the big opportunities? You get them by taking advantage of the little opportunities. You get them by taking all the little, it literally starts with where you're at right this moment. If you're driving in the car, I want you to look, do this real quick. Don't wreck, damn it, but just look at the floorboard of the passenger seat. And if there is a hefty trash bag worth of shit in your floorboard that you're too sorry to clean out, that's all you need to know about yourself right there. Do a little quick self-audit and say, God dang, like I need to clean my car. We all know these people, right? I mean, you just walk by their car and you're like, how do you even stand to drive? I'm not saying it's got to be like, there ain't nothing wrong with a good fried bologna sandwich. I will agree with you there. Clint's in the chat. We know these people where we were watching Hoarders last night. Me and Alyssa, we love to sit up and we watch Hoarders. And these people have a mental disorder. They're okay. Another person comes in from the outside and is like, what the hell? But to this guy, this is normal. And he will actually get pissed at the people trying to help him clean his house out. Same way with business. If your business you're only making just enough money to not call it a hobby, but if somebody tries to tell you a different way to make more money, if you get defensive about that, it's really a signal you're telling yourself. You should be looking at that and saying, why am I so, I'm more in love with being right than I am with winning. I don't want to be right. I want to win. Now, if winning is a standard and being right is something I can make match, then now we're running on both of those, you see. But a lot of people they're more interested in being right to where they'll lie to themselves. They'll hold this up and say, this is red. No, damn well it ain't red. Get a paycheck, blow it on stupid stuff, and then turn around 3 days later and say, I ain't got enough money to buy groceries for the kids. What are you talking about? Nobody blew skidooed into your checking account and got hold of your hand and made you write the check for stupid. Like, come on now. But these are people that will try to start businesses and they'll use every excuse in the book why it fails. When it fails, because we already read the statistic that 95% of them, 90 to 95% fail anyway, and 50% in the first few years. So you've already got the odds. Like, the market's already tough. You know what I'm saying, guys? It ain't easy. Like, the marketing's not easy. It's going to take work. The jobs ain't easy. The equipment costs a little bit of money. So you got there's a few things, fighting against you, but you can do it. But then if you stack lazy on top of that, bro, you are not going to make it. You might as well just stay clocked in somewhere and keep on telling yourself why you're right. If you're not where you want to be in 2024 America with these little boxes that we all have, that's got the combined vastness of knowledge in your pocket, the ability to market instantly to thousands of people, you can touch people instantly. If you're not where you're at and you don't have a plan to get there in the next 3 to 5 years, that is your own fault. It's not anybody's fault except yours. And taking that extreme accountability, that's how this thing gets off the ground. That's how you start getting traction and wind in the sails. It's by saying, okay, if you're in year 2, right? Let's assume that you're in your second year of business. What I want you to do is look at how much did you make last year? Let's say it was $50,000. All right, that's 50 grand. That's not nothing. That's $50,000. Okay, well, what do you plan on making this year? Or is 50 grand what you want to make? If so, then shoot for that goal. Have a plan to execute. If you want to make 100, if you want to make 150, where you can get, quit your job and do this full time and cover your overhead, whatever that number looks like for you, you got a number. Okay. How do you get to that number? If you don't make that number and you immediately start excuse, then you get what you deserve. You get what you are willing to take accountability for, because if and when you take accountability, up until that moment, you can't affect any outcomes because you don't own it. Now, whether you actually own it or not, I'm saying in your mind and in your heart, you have decided to not own this problem, to not own this situation. But the beautiful thing about accountability is when you take it that level and you say, that's mine, I'm going to own that, and I'm going to fix that. Now you own it. Now you can fix it. It's up to you to fix. You've got the ability to fix it, but you can't fix it. It is an unfixable situation as long as there's some ethereal forces out there that are screwing my life up, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I can't get ahead. I live paycheck to paycheck. My kids, it's a good example. They get something else that ain't got nothing to do with money or pressure washing, right? Do your kids, like, we watch these TV shows and these kids, the way they talk, we be around people that we know, be out in public with people, and their kids are like so disrespectful and nobody's doing anything about it. And it's almost like that's their version of the Hoarders episode. Their kids are they're way past disrespectful. And it's to the point where it makes, y'all ever been around? I know you have. Like, we'd be at a church event or something, and somebody's little kid, little 4-year-old little jackass running around. Well, he's just that way. No, knock the hell out of him. There's a reset button. It's located right in his ass. And if you will hit it, it will recalibrate him back to normal. It shouldn't be that 11 adults have to cater and tiptoe around a 5 or 6-year-old kid. I get it. They could be a little hyper, but I'm saying they're running up, kicking adults, acting a slam damn fool. And the parent says, well, whatever comes after nothing. Take your belt off. My daddy had one of them belts that had, the belt from the what do you call it? The country fair that had the squirrels and acorns and birds and shit carved in it and the leather. My daddy probably only whooped me, I don't know, 10 times. It wasn't a lot of time. My mom would give me a whooping every day. But what I'm saying is they raise them to this height with no discipline, and then they get to be teenagers, no discipline. If you guys have met my children, some of you guys in the chat I know have been here to the shop and stuff, like Todd, catch y'all still in chat. If you know us personally, you'll know that what I'm about to tell you, I am not bragging. Maybe I'm bragging a little bit, but my kids, I could tell my boys, they're 16, and I could look at them and say, hey, stand right there on one leg, and I'll be back in an hour. And when I come back, I want you exactly in that spot. And I'm not, if I'm lying, I'm dying, my hand on the Bible, they will be in the same position they are in. It didn't just happen. When they were 2, 3, 4, we adopted our kids. So we had a late start raising them, but we got them young enough that we were able to basically mold them how we want them to be. When they were, I'd say about 4 to about 9 years old, getting in trouble was a everyday thing. Sometimes they just be in trouble on credit. Like, you look like you might be finna do something, so you're in trouble. That's how we rolled. That was just me and Emily's parenting philosophy. And you know what? I didn't give a shit if people thought it was right or not. I don't care. This is our experiment. We're going to do what we want to do. Here's what I know. On the backside of it, it worked. Why? Because we were saddling them up with accountability. They did something wrong, they got immediate accountability. They did something outside the scope of what they were supposed to do, they got immediate accountability. Now, they weren't perfect by any means. That's why they got in trouble so much. They were normal children, but they got accountability, and it was not some ethereal out in the future, I'm going to whoop you. You wait till your daddy gets home. No, they got it. Like, it was hardly ever where they were promised it and they didn't get it. But people don't grow up that way. They don't raise their kids that way. So if you got kids in the chat, if you watch this video, I got 57 people right now on YouTube. I guess that's what's telling me feedback on YouTube. Yeah. So audit your children. If you've got a child less than 15 years old, how do they act? If you can't train, if you have not put in the effort, you're not going to get the result. How you do it, how they act at the store is how they're going to act in life. Like, you can't expect them to. It's the same way. Like, nature goes towards entropy. Nature does not go towards order. It's the second law of thermodynamics. It is literally going to go that way. If you don't get in there and put your hands on it and touch it, no matter if we're talking about your personal finances, your raising your children, your business, it don't matter what you're talking about. You have constantly got to be sticking your hands back into the equation and fixing it and working on it. And listen, it's okay if your business right now is not where it needs to be. That's not the problem. It's okay if right now you got a 10-year-old that kind of lost control of. That is a problem, but trust me, it is not that bad of a problem as long as you're aware of it and you acknowledge it. Now you can start working on it. If you live paycheck to paycheck right now, that is a problem, but it is much less of a problem than putting your head in the sand and acting like nothing going on. Because once you say there's a problem and it's my problem, so you acknowledge that it's a problem, you take ownership of the problem. Give me that. That's my ownership. I'm going to take that. Now we can start working on it. I'll give you an example, right? I've been playing with this. See him. This is a Softwash hose. This is a 1/2 inch. It used to be a Softwash hose, 1/2 inch. This is an old, try to line it up for you. Now see that? You can't see through it good because look at that side. Look at that. It's crusty, dog. It's pretty bad. Yeah, let the camera focus on that right there. See that? What do you think happened right here? We had a guy that purchased this. This came off of a mini skid, and he did not flush his system out over many, many, many different times. He did. This probably took a long time. I'd say 5 or 6 months. And because he did not keep his hands in the mix, he killed his hose reel. Now, this was a Titan hose reel. This is a long time ago. Stainless steel internal manifold. He killed it. And he pulled up out here one day, and he was all right. He wasn't no kind of way about it, but he just showed up at the shop, wanted us to work on his system. We're like, well, dude, first of all, we don't have time to just stop See, that's your company. Once we sold you the rig, it's yours. Like, unless there's a manufacturer's defect, something we did wrong, but it's months down the road. We don't need to be talking to you, and you sure can't stop my day's production because you got a problem. But I was in a good mood that day, so I went up there and helped him troubleshoot. He had already spent $500 or $600 putting additional 12. He was changing pumps out because he thought something's wrong with these pumps. Turns out that's all it was. All I did is I disconnected his quick connect on the outgoing side of the pump and cut it on. Pump came on, ran just fine. Cut the water valve on, pump running great. So, okay, we know the battery's good, the switch is good, we know the wiring's good, we know the pump's good, right? We check all that stuff's working. As soon as you plug the quick connect back up, which is just a short jumper hose up to the hose reel, plug it back into the pump, snap it closed, cut the pump back on, blow a fuse just like that. Because it was trying to pump through that. That ain't nothing but a clogged artery right there. Ain't nothing but a clogged artery, baby. And it was killing pumps. And so he had gotten super frustrated with the mini skid, with the business in general, with the pumps. He was mad at, and like I said, I ain't picking on this guy because I've done this before too. He's mad at the skid. He's mad at Southeast. He's mad at the pump company, whoever it was. I don't remember what kind of Delavan or who. He mad at everybody. And about 5 minutes worth of me going out there in the parking lot with him, guess who he really gets to be mad at? And once he saw that, he really understood. Guess who he really needed to redirect all that aggravation at? It's himself. It's him. It's his own problem because he wasn't flushing it out. Like ever. RPC, check that out, bro. Dude hadn't flushed out. So it was an easy fix. Spun this off down there at the reel. Cut the pump on, let it flush out the junk, the big junk, screw on a barb, put the hose back on, put a clamp on it. He didn't have the nice installed crimped on fitting at that point, but he only lost 10 inches of hose, not a big deal. And he got back up and running. But the lesson there was, who is going to absorb this accountability? If I take this big lump of accountability and lay it on the table, who's coming along to get it? And here's what I found, guys. I'm going to leave you with this. Keep it under 30 minutes. The more accountability I've taken, the more Jocko Willink I've tried to listen to and be like, okay, let's try this. The more I've really tried to apply that, the more money I've made, the more success I've made, the better things have gotten in every area of life. My kids are adopted. They come from a crack house. I was at work one day and I came home and there were 3 kids at my house and they've been there ever since. We were foster parents. They brought us 3 kids. And you know what? We could have half-ass raised them. We could have done whatever with them and let them, sort of kind of raise them, but nope. And if I'd have done that, well, I could have said, well, you know how they turned out, but their mama was on drugs when she had them. I'll reach up here to the universe and grab me a reason as to why it's like it is. No, the reason is me. The reason is me. There's even times when the reason literally is something else. Like, there's shit happens up here all the time. We spend millions of dollars a year on parts and things. And sometimes we'll have a vendor that doesn't ship us our stuff. And that could be a bunch of stuff that our customers are waiting on, right? So our customers are aggravated. Well, I'm aggravated too. So now the reality is, like, hand on the Bible, the gospel truth is, it is whoever that said they were going to ship it to me and they didn't, and it was 2-3 weeks have gone by. That is the truth. And I could tell my customers, hey, I'm waiting on so-and-so, man, and as soon as they get it, we're going to get it out to you. That's the gospel truth. Like, I'm not saying that we have to act like the reality ain't there, but you can't operate that way. You can think it, but it's almost even dangerous to think it. It's almost even dangerous to say, okay, I've got these 5 areas of, it could be your health. Like, I'm not a gym guy. I don't give a damn about it. Really. I'm just trying to not be unhealthy. But I know a lot of people that want to go, Emily's going to the gym. I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. That's not for me. I just don't care about it. Right. I'm gonna be a gun guy. I like shooting guns, but whatever the thing, if you're out of shape, you know who fault is? It's yours. Like, it is. Like, well, you see these stupid people? Y'all see these stupid people on freaking, like, I'll be watching YouTube videos and they're talking about, my English is really good, isn't it? They be talking. They're talking about there's food deserts where we live. What are you talking about? A food desert? Your ass just don't want to drive to Publix because it's 4 more miles away. And it's what you mean is it's convenient to eat Hunt's Brothers. I know it is, but that doesn't mean, well, I'm 600 pounds and it's because there's a food desert out here where I live. No, you're lazy as hell. You don't plan to, you have to go to the store and buy groceries on Saturday. I know you don't want to, but these people are blaming Walgreens for closing down because they've been robbing them. Like, robbed them blind to the point where CVS, Walgreens, like, we got to close that store. Well, how dare they? It's your own damn fault. Y'all robbed the store to the point it had to close. Like, it's your own fault. I can't get no jobs, man. I can't get no. It does not matter. Insert thing, and it is your fault. Like, it is your fault of why whatever X is, whether it's your health, your finances, the way your kids act. Like, it don't matter what the thing is. It's especially if you're a dad. I'm assuming it's backwards. Most of these people here are dad. It's really your fault because the good Lord said it all rise and falls on daddy. I don't care what the feminist said. It's going to be your fault at the end of the day. So you might as well act like it is. And you might as well start taking the accountability and taking the initiative and then moving the needle in all those areas as you want to, as you need to get them to where you want them to be. Set your goals, right? Set your goals. You may have a financial goal, what you want to do this year in washing. You may have a certain setup of equipment you want to get. It could be something completely, they ain't got nothing to do with this, right? It could be something personal life. It does not matter. I don't have that many subscribers on YouTube. I'm almost to like, I think 50,000 is my next kind of milestone. Mike Vadan's got like freaking 500,000. Justin's got, he's closing in on 1 million. Okay. You know what? Why is that? Well, I'll tell you guys exactly why it is. I don't play the shorts game. Do I want 10x the subscribers on my YouTube channel? Sure. But I don't obviously want it bad enough. I don't really care. But I'm just saying, if that was a thing that I wanted to have, and I do want it, like it'd be great, to have. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's great. It's one of the reasons we partner with Mike and Justin because they have a big old YouTube channel. Let's partner together, right? But I didn't put in the work. Like, they've made a ton of videos and they've made them a lot better than I care to make. Okay. So I'm now at the end of the harvest and I have X in that little harvesting category, right? I have harvested what I put in to that metric. That's what I've got. Now, if that was a big thing in my life, I would go work on it. But I'm not saying that you have to, you can't win it all. Like we can't, you got to pick out what matters to you. What do you need to do to make the needle move in all of the areas that you care about? I got about 6 things that I care about. Past that, I'm good, dog. I ain't trying to, you'll die if you try to harvest every piece of corn on the ground. What I'm saying is you set your goals, figure out where your life is the most screwed up at right now. And here's the thing I hate, and I'm gonna leave you guys with this. You guys know I used to spend a lot of time at church. We don't go to church right now. We're kind of in between churches. And I almost hate to get real knee deep back into a church environment because so many people that we affiliate with, that we believe the same way, they use church as Jesus magic dust. They say, well, so-and-so's life's all messed up. And yep, they're just out of church and they're not doing right. That's hardly ever, those two things don't correlate most of the time. And it's hard for a broke, backwards person because here's what they're saying. I want to do whatever I want to do and then go to church on Sunday and sprinkle some magic dust on top of it and everything will be fine. That is not biblical. That is not what the good Lord told you to do. God gave you instructions in Proverbs. Go read Solomon. What Solomon do? He was successful. Imply that. Do those things. You will get an X result, right? But what we want to say is, no, I want to do whatever I want and then sprinkle some Jesus dust on top of it on Sunday morning and everything will be fine. So that's not accurate. What you want to do is actually put in the work, and then you get to go and practice your religion, practice your faith. That's an extra on top. It's not magic powers. That's what a lot of guys that are attracted to our world pressure washing, they're pretty much all the kind of the same guy. Like Reggie agree, right? Like I'm not saying don't go. I'm saying don't look at it as a magic ticket. Like these same people, they're still screwed up. And well, pray for my granddaughter. She's strung out on all these problems. Yeah, because you're not doing the things. Just dragging them to listen to some hymnal music and an organ play. Like it's not going to hurt anything. But it's not like Shazam, poof. You're using God as a lottery ticket to cover up all the stuff you didn't do that He told you to do. Like He gave you the formula. He gave you the formula. You just do. How do I know I'm right? I know I'm right. How do I know I'm right? Because there's people in the world that don't give a flying piss about God, and they're billionaires, but they're following the same formula. They may not even be believers in anything, but they're following the formula, and that's what's making the difference. The trick is if you can do your best to follow the formula and then also exercise your faith on top of that, that's where you really start seeing like you're hitting it in every area. You got your spiritual walk is dialed in, you got your marriage is dialed in, your kid. I want you guys to win, but it ain't just in pressure washing. I want you to win in family life. Like I want you to win to where you're proud of what you've done in all these areas. Because us as dads, we got a lot we're accountable for. We don't have the luxury. If you're going to understand it, you don't actually have the luxury of sticking your head in the sand and throwing the accountability off on everybody else. You have got it, because at the end of the day, God's going to hold you accountable anyway. There's going to be a judgment day where mama's not standing up there to answer for the Yarber family. Mama's not standing up there. He ain't going to ask her nothing. So when we get a dude that, hey, man, I want to get some equipment. Well, I got to ask my old lady. What the hell are you asking her for? She ain't going to stand up here accountable for what happens in this family. How much money we got, baby? You should know that. Don't put that on her. Well, she just better with all no, you're lazy and you don't want to take the responsibility and take the checkbook, because if you have the checkbook, then you know it's your fault when you're broke. Asking permission from my wife to do a damn thing. I mean, where did this come from? Like, what are you talking about? Because the truth is, us as guys, and 99% of the people that watch the channel are guys. 99% of the people that get into this industry are guys. Most of us are married. Most of us have kids, and we've got a family that we're responsible for. And here's what I found. Pressure washing is a hell of a good way to go squeeze a bunch of money out of the market, do a good job, serve your customers, and you can keep repeating that. It's a great living. It's a great life. You can take that money and you can start affecting outcomes. You want your kids to go to I ain't send my kids to public school. There ain't no way in hell I'd send my kids to public school. Ain't no way. Okay, well, the alternatives cost money. All right, I'll get some money. I want my wife to drive whatever the nicest thing is. What is that? I gotta go get some money, right? I want the heat and the air to work. Like I want things. I want to take my family on trips. Well, gotta go get some money. So a lot of what we talk about is financial, because that touches every other area. It does. The ability to affect outcomes a lot of times is money driven, but there's all these other areas that we've got to work on. And you're not going to, if this guy right here had seen that and he'd have still tried to blame somebody else, you think that guy's going to be successful? You think that guy's going to make it? How's he going to make it? Everything is somebody else's fault. Whose fault is it? Well, if you're doing it right, it's always your fault. But the good news is, as soon as you accept that responsibility, now we can start changing. I hope you guys have a great Monday. Come check us out, Serious Starter event. Me and Aaron will be there dropping some knowledge on you guys. Not really these kind of talks. We'll be talking more about tactical things you can do in your business, equipment. We will go out in the field and do some spraying. It'll be a fun time. So Aaron will drop a lot of marketing stuff on you on Saturday. A lot. Okay. AP, you guys he don't talk about himself a whole lot, but AP is a copyright marketing genius. He is, I was able to build our e-commerce division up to about $1 million a year. And I was impressed with that. Well, in a lot of Aaron's efforts and stuff that he was able to help us with the company, he's pretty much single-handedly been able to triple that. So that's about, you do the math, what triple that is. So, yeah, dude, Clint's right here in the chat. Clint's just right up the road from us. worked at Goodyear Tire, and Goodyear had a big old plant up there in Gadsden, Alabama, and they shut it down. And you know what Clint could have done? Wallowed around and said, lost my job. Yeah, shit happens. Is it a truth? Absolutely. It is actually true that a thing happened to Clint. He was affected by an outside force. That's true. But the way to win is to just, yeah, you may know that, but you don't even operate that way. You just cut that off and say, well, it's my fault. Like, it ain't, but you have to operate like it is. Clint gets him a skid, gets in there, and he said he's almost crippled his income. I'm assuming he means tripled his income. That's great, man. Success story after success story. I've been able to make, if I'd have known where I was going to be at today with inventions and patents, and like I got my drawing right there for the super pump, the part of the super pump, dude, it all started with taking extreme accountability of where I was at and where I wanted to be. And I was not content with watching all these things go by and me being reactive all the time. I was always in reaction mode to the plant shut down. I mean, I used to work at Mohawk Carpets, and they'd go on short time every winter. You know what? I did that for several years. I'm like, man, it's Christmas time and we're on short time down at yet that's your fault. It's your fault. Fix it. Absorb it, reflect, and fix. Have a great Monday, guys. We'll see you. Peace out.